Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr.
Who is Dr. Destroyo?
Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? Who is Dr. Destroyo? I am Dr. Destroyo. From the Death by Media Man podcast show, it's Dr. Destroyo. The story of the world's first true supervillain. We're telling Dr. Destroyo in sequence every 2 weeks. So if you haven't listened to the first episodes, go back and start there. Then, this will all make a lot more sense. Chapter 46. So we're gonna do this thing then? The solution asked me. I smiled grimly under my mask. Chapter 47. A very public confrontation between two masked men concluded today with one man dead and another wanted for questioning by the police. The lady newscaster had swept back auburn hair and a bright red top. She was middle-aged, sort of distinguished but appealing, not unlike a friend's surprisingly attractive mother. This is the news at 11 or 12 or whatever time it happens to be. This is the televised retelling of what went down. This is the third body to be found in the costume affiliated with the pop culture crime figure Dr. Destroyo. What connection this latest death has to do with the other ones, or with the man who has been releasing what are now being referred to as the Dr. Destroyo manifestos online, is still unknown. Is still unknown. The three sweetest words in the English language. Chapter 48. What the fuck? The solution asked as he came barging in through my front door. I'd left the door unlocked because I knew he was gonna come in like that. I'd put on a pot of coffee and I was wearing my mask. You can have your costume back now, I mentioned. Outside of the suit, he was just a normal guy. Wayne Boudreau. And Wayne Boudreau looked really upset. At first I thought he was angry, which was half what I'd been expecting. But then, when I looked a little deeper, I could see that the flush of his face was more about fear and frustration than anything more caustic. "Fuck you," he shouted at me. "You fucking killed that guy." Yeah, I said, sneering facetiously under my mask. I thought that was the plan. I mean, isn't that what you came to me for? "No," he shouted tensely. "Jesus, man, I just thought we were gonna put on like a show. Something for people to watch." Yeah, I repeated. And they did. They watched that guy try to fly. "But..." He was pacing the floor now, mumbling his words in a half panic. "You threw him off the side of the... You fucking killed him!" "Yeah," I mused. I thought I was gonna have to hit him with the hammer, but luckily all that cough medicine fucked him up pretty good. "Are you serious?" Wayne Boudreau, formerly the solution, sunk to my floor and began to hyperventilate. What did you do? He repeated over and over again, his voice a terse whimper of confusion. What did you do? 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 What did I do? I asked him back. Is this the part then where I explain my evil plot to you? Is that what we're doing here? I tried to hand him a cup of coffee, which he ignored, so I sat it next to him on the dirty carpeting of the living room floor. I don't know, Wayne said, and he looked up at me with tears streaming down his cheeks. Well, I said, and I clapped my hands together triumphantly. I had my own cup of coffee. It was black and bitter. I liked it that way. First, I hired a homeless man, I explained. I went into a shitty part of town and I gave a guy $50 and the promise of a bunch more if he helped me play a trick on a friend of mine. Then I gave him a thermos full of a bunch of extra strength flu and cold medicines I'd mixed together. That got him good and loose for what was to come. Hell, I cracked my neck awkwardly, still feeling stiff from the previous night's climb. The hardest part was getting him up the ladder. But that was a pretty good building you picked. The Vogue? The Vogue Theater, Wayne Boudreau repeated weakly back at me. The Vogue Theater, I exclaimed happily. You really did your research, didn't you? You knew exactly the right place for things to go down. See me, I never would have come up with that. It just never would have occurred to me. But it was a great choice. I grinned furiously at him through my mask, noting happily, man, there were like twice as many people watching as when I burned down the Mason. I've been throwing up all night, Wayne Boudreau said, looking up at me. I can't stop. If you have to, please use the bathroom, okay? He burped meekly and stared back down at the floor. Okay. Man, I said, still grinning wildly under my mask. Did you see the footage those tourists got? I was watching clips of it online this morning. Wayne looked at me again, his face as white as freshly fallen snow, and he made a little retching sound, deep down in his throat, or maybe his soul. Then he forced himself up onto his feet and stumbled over to my bathroom, where he proceeded to make a bunch more retching sounds, deep down into my toilet. It was way better than the stuff from the Mason, I went on, standing casually at the bathroom door as the solution investigated the mystery that was the interior of my toilet bowl. They can see your mask and make out your costume and everything. And then when the guy fell, he practically landed on one of the guys who was filming. You could hear the sound the body made when it hit the ground and everything. I chuckled under my mask as Wayne Boudreau dry heaved. My enthusiasm felt strange, but strangely appropriate. How long has it been since you managed to eat anything? I thought it was going to be you in the costume, Wayne Boudreau said, barely able to pull his eyes away from my overly fascinating toilet bowl. I thought you were going to be the doctor. Why would I want to kill myself? I asked him, sounding almost surprised. Do you think I'm crazy? I laughed a little at the idea of it. I hadn't really thought what the solution had been expecting to happen. I'd just been focused on my plan and seeing it through. I thought it was going to be you, he choked out again, spitting into my toilet water. Well, what the hell would the point of that be, I asked him. Then I'd be the one dead in the street, and that's not exactly a villainous master plan. To climb up to the top of a building and throw myself off it after having a loud argument with some dork in a rubber suit? I don't understand, Wayne Boudreau blubbered, his face leaking snot and tears and nervous slobber into the toilet. Why did somebody have to die? Why would anybody care if somebody didn't? I responded. Come on, like anybody would have given a fuck if that guy had turned up dead this morning for any other reason. And hey, don't act like it's some sort of great loss, because that's just fucking insulting. You didn't give two shits about that guy until you saw him tumbling off the side of that ledge. You're insane, Wayne moaned weakly. I marched directly over to Wayne Boudreau to loom over him as he cowered against my toilet. I'm not insane, I explained from under the mask, from within the form of the character I was portraying. I'm a goddamn supervillain. I heard the words outside of myself, and for once, they sounded like I thought they should have. I wear a mask, and I kill people who irritate me. I'm Dr. Destroyo. Or did you forget that? I didn't know, Wayne cried. I thought you were just some nerd. I didn't think they were really dead. I didn't think... Well, they are, I told him. It's all real, they're all dead, and you're a fucking moron. I honestly don't know what you were really expecting was gonna happen. Wayne stared up at me. He was wearing black slacks with a plain white t-shirt, and the t-shirt was stained with little droplets of stomach acid. I wished he was wearing the costume. His costume. It really was a costume, though, for him. It wasn't a uniform. Not for Wayne Boudreau. How are you not in jail? He asked me. Honestly, I laughed. I have no idea. I held up my hands in front of myself so I could look at the backs of my fingers. My hands. Dr. Destroyo's hands. I think I might have the ability to disguise myself as something so utterly useless that nobody would dare suspect it of anything. Like I developed my stupid little life as the perfect camouflage for something amazing. I looked at the space between my fingers, where it seemed like anything could happen. Hell, I even fooled myself for the first couple decades. Wayne Boudreau sobbed something and then spat up some more. So maybe it was a good idea that he didn't come in costume. But it was you, he said, in my suit. You were wearing my suit when you killed that guy, and now everybody's gonna think that it was me that did it. Yeah, well, if you're worried about it, you shouldn't have let me borrow your costume. I didn't want you to borrow it, he groaned horribly. And that was true. He hadn't. In fact, it had taken me several hours and a quarter ounce of pot to convince Wayne Boudreau to leave his costume at my apartment. It had only been after the sun had come up that I talked him into just wearing some of my street clothes back to his hotel. So, the solution. Do I still call you that when you're out of costume? I smiled through my mask, down at my quivering foe. My teeth were razor sharp and made of solid steel. My tongue was wrapped in barbed wire, and my breath was burning with atomic radiation.
Dr. Destroyo is written and produced by Hank Pattison for the Death by Media Man podcast channel. You can subscribe to the Death by Media Man podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a like or a comment and tell a friend. And if you'd like to support the Death by Media Man channel with your money, there's a link to our Patreon in the description of this program. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next installment of Dr. Destroyo.